Hey everyone, it's Amanda, aka the Orchid Noob. Today I'm going to show you the rest of my orchid collection. I've been rearranging my shelves in here. I bought this new shelf because I've kind of run out of space for some of them because some of them are pretty big. So I'm going to be all around showing you what I haven't shown you yet and also some updates on what I've shown you already. So the first one we're going to see is probably one of my favorite orchids, which is the Phalaenopsis bellina. I ordered it online and it was in bark. It wasn't doing very well. I was killing it basically. I also noticed on this leaf the end of it was turning black, so I just cut about a quarter of it off. So I was trying to just stop whatever was happening before it spread, and it seems to have worked. So that made me very happy. So I grew this leaf not too long after that. It's super tiny, it's a super firm leaf, and then it's been growing this one, which is about the same size as the previous ones, so I'm pretty happy about that. This orchid seems to also love throwing out aerial roots for me. There's tons of them. I had this in a glass cup and I actually just repotted it into this little semi-hydro pot. This is the tag if you're curious. I'm like a noob apparently with a camera as well. There we go, it did its job. So that's the tag for it. It had a spike on it when I received it, but again I was killing it because I didn't know what I was doing. So hopefully it does something for me in the future. I'm hoping. I did notice on here, which is kind of concerning, it's this black spot on top of that root. I don't know if you see it right there. So I'm kind of worried about that. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. If I don't even know what to do if it spreads, because I have no idea what it is. But hopefully it's nothing. I mean, I don't know. Just wishing for the best because I don't want to lose it, because I don't want to honestly have to pay for another one. I've already been through way too much with that, but that's a hobby, I guess, right? So the next orchid is this Cattleya that I got. I like to call it wild because it's everywhere. It's growing all sideways and roots popping out everywhere. But it has this new growth. And then there's another one in the back here somewhere. Oh, it's hiding. That one. It's got roots all over. And then I also saw something down here. I don't know if you see it. I think it's another root. I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that it's another growth, but we'll find out. This one is one of my newest orchids. It's one that I've wanted for a long time because the flowers are just insane. It is the Dendrobium spectabile. Maybe I should just stop trying to show you the tag because it never seems to work. Well, just trust me, it's the spectabile. And it's doing good. This is the biggest growth it had when I got it. Right there. And I also saw a new growth down there. You can barely see it from this angle. There you go, right there. So that makes me happy. I didn't know how long it would take for it to get used to the whole semi-hydro situation, but it's doing good. And then on the bottom, I have some Vandas, which I actually have them in vases. I soak them for a few days and then I let them dry out for a week, which may be too long because they seem really dry by that time. But they've grown a few new leaves since I've had them. No spikes for me. And there's some new roots that you can see in there. So that's the first one. This is the other one. Same thing, it's grown a few leaves, but nothing, no spikes. It has some new roots in there. So hopefully, I don't know, they might not be getting enough light. They do get some good light here from the window, but I have those screens on there, so it's not direct. So I don't know, we'll see. Here is a Stylus Gigantea or something, I think it's called. I just have it in water. I think it's still trying to get used to the fact that I just threw it in water. There's a whole bunch of algae, but it did put out a new root right there. So I'm taking that as a good sign. The other one that I have is the last Vanda, and it is actually the first orchid that I ever got, believe it or not. Back when I had no idea what I was doing, more so than now, I guess you could say, since I still don't really know. But that's it. It's gotten bigger. I still don't know if I'm gonna keep it in this whole keep it in water and then let it dry out thing, because I don't know if it's liking it. I might put it in sphagnum moss. I don't know. I'm gonna decide. But that's the first orchid I ever got. Super cute. This one is the mother plant, as I like to call it, from those Dendrobium nobile pieces that I showed you in my last video. This is the main plant. I don't know if you call these canes or whatever, are a lot bigger than the other ones. These were the new ones that it grew when I first got it. It has some yellowing leaves, which I assume is normal. But it's got tons of roots in there, and it also has a new growth that's popping up. But there's like insane amount of roots. I can just like lift it up and it's not coming out. So I think that's good, right? The next one and the last one that's on this shelf is another one connected to some of the orchid pieces in the last video. This is the Cattleya that I got from my Orchid Society raffle. So this was the main piece, and that other piece kind of fell off of it when I was trying to take off all the dead roots. So this is the first pseudobulb. It had an old spike on it when I won it from the auction or the raffle, but I don't know what it looks like. I think it's a white Cattleya. And this is the new growth. Nothing else in the pot yet, but it's doing good. That's gonna be it on this shelf. You've seen everything on this. I'm gonna do updates on this one in a second, but we're gonna show you my Phalaenopsis first. So I decided to put my Phalaenopsis orchids, at least most of them, on this shelf, which is not right up next to the window. So it gets some good light, but it's not as direct, I guess you would say. But I have them over here. A couple of them are new. I have a few that are already used to semi-hydro. The first one is this one. These two leaves have been grown in my care. It has some roots. It's got this new root. It's growing off an old one. Tons of new roots in the pot. And this is my favorite root right here. It's growing between the leaves. It's so cute. So that one's used to semi-hydro. This one is pretty much used to it. It's growing roots in the pot for me, or in the vase, not really a pot. It's grown this leaf, and now it's working on this leaf. So it's getting there. This was damage that it had when I received it. I actually got one of these orchids from a friend. They didn't have time to take care of it because they have a new baby. So I decided to take on the task, and I think I'm bringing it back. This was the same thing right here. I got this orchid from the same person. It's grown this leaf. It's got all these water spots on it, but I don't see any aerial roots coming out on this one. I think it's just growing roots in the pot that I just can't see. The leaves haven't drooped or anything, so that's why I'm assuming that there's roots in there and that it's, for the most part, pretty healthy. And then this one is one of the other ones that I have that's used to semi-hydro by now. It grew this leaf recently, and now it's working on this leaf. And it's got roots in the pot as well. Down there. So it's enjoying it. I'm gonna put it in a pot eventually, I just haven't gotten around to it. And I like how it looks in this vase. So it's gonna stay there. And then this is the other one that's kind of trying real hard to get used to this semi-hydro setup. It's got this massive leaf. I don't know what kind of phalaenopsis this is, what it looks like, but I'm assuming it's going to be massive. It's growing this new aerial root back here. I thought it had another root. Some new roots going into the pot, but it's getting used to it. Alright, the last two phalaenopsis orchids that I have are actually clearance orchids. They were at my garden center for, no joke, $5. They had them outside. I looked at them, I saw that they looked pretty healthy, other than this one had a burnt yellow leaf, which has fallen off. But $5, I mean, they're big phalaenopsis orchids, it's a steal. I know I don't need any more orchids, but that's the problem with this hobby, is you keep wanting to buy more and more and more, and then you buy more shelves for more of your orchids when you shouldn't, but at least that's been my experience. But it had pretty good roots in the pot. But we have to go through the whole process of it getting used to this, so some of the roots will probably die. So that was one of the $5 orchids. This is the other one. And I saw it and I just had to have it because these leaves are like super fat and round instead of the really long ones, and I don't know, I just liked how it looked. And it had tons of leaves. None of them were sunburnt. I was assuming it was really healthy just based on looking at it, which is probably not a good rule of thumb, so don't listen to me on that. But when I brought it home and unpotted it, it had tons of roots, which is why I decided to put it in the bigger pot instead of a vase. But it had a lot of roots in there. And yeah, we're just gonna keep an eye on it, make sure it grows, unpot it eventually, cut all the dead roots off, repot it. But they all look pretty good, considering that I don't really know exactly what I'm doing, but hey, that's why I'm called the orchid noob, right? So those are the phalaenopsis. This is one of my orchids that I got. I don't know exactly what kind of orchid it is. I think it's... No, I have no idea, to be honest. But I think it's a cool grower, which isn't really good for my climate because I live in like south central Texas. It's super hot. It never really gets cold. But it came with 2 plants actually in one pot, and the other one was rotting and I couldn't save it. So I was really upset because I'd spent a good amount on these. But this one I think I managed to save. The pseudobulbs are all pretty plump. This is some yellowing, but I don't think it means anything. And it has a new growth in here that I saw. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. It's like down in here. It's going to be way too dark. But there's a new growth down there. It's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to do some updates on some of the orchids I've already shown you, because there have been some new developments. But first I do have this little humidity monitor thing over here. Oh look, hi, you saw me. I don't know if it'll see. But I have it about 47% humidity in this room, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So, and this is the summer. So usually the humidity, I know last winter the humidity popped up. I was at like 60%, which is really good considering I grow them all inside. I have the windows open in the winter to kind of let the cool air in. We turn off the heater and just let it kind of get cool in here. So I think my Phalaenopsis will like that. Hopefully they all spike for me, as long as they're healthy. So I just wanted to show you that little piece of information. This is one of my Phalaenopsis that has a new little leaf. So that's what's new with it. But it's been doing good. This is a different Cattleya. Has this new growth that's just growing, doing its thing. I showed you that one, the Sideria. My Schilleriana, still growing this leaf. And it has some, and it has a new growth down there. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully it's bigger than these. And then this is one of my little bag baby Cattleyas, but I don't know if you can see, but it has what looks like a new growth right there. So that's what's new with that one. Nothing with that. The first videos that I made, I showed you my repotting on these little Cattleyas. Let me see if I can show you. That's lovely. But this is one of them. It has that new growth. And it has that little one. So that one's doing good. This one, that little growth that was on it is actually a lot bigger. There it is. It's right there. It's looking good. And I also saw a new growth down here. I don't know if you can see it down there. It's a tiny new growth. And this one has some new roots. So they're developing and they're drinking water like no one's business. But that's about it. That's everything new that's happening. This is the one that I was so excited about because it has a flower spike. And that bud's gonna open soon. And it looks like it's developing. So that'll be exciting. It's the first orchid that I ever get to bloom. At least so far. Hopefully, eventually all of these will bloom and you'll get to see them. But that's about it. That's my orchid collection. And then you got to see some new developments happening. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do some more, maybe repotting. Maybe you'll follow me around my garden center or something. But please like, please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.